what ultimately led you guys to picking Jalen Smith?
Well, we thought he was the best fit for. He checked a lot of boxes for us. We want to be athletic. We want to be long. Adding length to the perimeter with DeAndre, Mikal, Cam Johnson. We figured when we looked at Jalen, his versatility to play the 4 and the 5, just to be a versatile forward that could stretch the floor, that can run in transition, be the first big down the floor, could switch and pick and roll, and more importantly, could attack the offensive glass. We thought he gave us an edge in our front court. And as we've seen over the past year, we can't have enough front court depth. We saw that when DeAndre was out last year. We were effective with Aaron Baines and Frank Kaminsky stepping up in a big way. But we felt in order to keep pace in the West, we needed to be stronger with our front court. And so Jalen's a defensive guy with offensive skills, a big with ball skills that can pass and shoot. He's a great addition to our team.
All right, next up we have Richard Syons with Fox 10. He'll be followed by Mark McClune. Go ahead, Richard.
Hey, James, great to see you. You just talked about Jalen's versatility. How much did character come into play when you think about this kid you see he's from a military background, seems to have a high motor and seems to be a team player? How much did that play into this decision process?
Well, that had a huge impact on our evaluation of Jalen. We identified him not only as a good player, but as a professional college player. He's extremely disciplined, regimented. He's a tireless worker, and his approach fits our approach. Our culture is about work. We want guys that are hoopers, guys that are self-starters, that play with passion, that love this game, and are dedicated with their free time to improving. And if you watch his improvement from year 1 to year 2, he's a 5-star kid who came into Maryland under 190 pounds, and he left at 225. So he put in work, and that was all on his own merits. So that discipline, like I said, that self-discipline is something I think will translate early for him and allow him to impact our team and play minutes early.
All right, next is Mark McClune with Channel 3, Channel 5. He'll be followed by Cameron Cox. Go ahead, Mark.
Hey, James. Good evening. Thanks for the time. Hey, there's been so much enthusiasm locally after the way the team performed in the bubble with the undefeated finish. What do you feel like the 2 additions to the team this week does as far as performance on the court going forward into 2020 and 2021?
Continues to raise the floor. Our expectations are always increasing. I thought that the bubble was a great opportunity for our guys, namely Mikal, Dario, and Mikal, Cam, and Dario. It was an opportunity for them to get a second season with the Suns. Mikal, in that instance, was his 3rd season, but I thought those 3 guys were phenomenal in the bubble, and we were able to switch it up a little bit, play differently, attack the glass, get out in transition, have our bigs push in transition. Dario playing as a small ball 5 or as our facilitating 5. I thought it gave us great movement and created opportunities for Javon and campaign to get out in transition and attack and shoot threes. And so I think the additions that we've made, Chris and Jalen, when you put those guys with the current group that we have, you increase our versatility, but more importantly, you increase our competitiveness. Those 2 guys, they bring it, and you can see it when they play. They play with passion, they play with force, and we need that in this deep Western Conference.
All right, next up is Cameron Cox with 12 News. He'll be followed by Kellen Olson. Go ahead, Cameron.
James, good evening. Hope everything is going well. Just if you could take us behind the curtain a little bit, how did the Chris Paul trade come together? And then what's your reaction to seeing him one day after being traded here already in town and working out with Devin Booker?
Well, it was a tough situation for us, because in order to acquire Chris, we had to move away from 4 guys that have helped build our culture. Ricky, Kelly, Jalen, and Ty. And it was a tough decision, but we knew that we were getting exactly what you've seen over the last 2 days: a Hall of Famer, an All-Star, a leader, a winner, a guy that lives and breathes basketball 24/7. And that's the type of leader and personality that we need. Those are the traits that we want all of our guys to embody. And so it's big for us, not just because of Chris's name, but because of his game. We know that we'll get a guy that's here early, leaves late, and will never let his teammates quit.
All right, next is Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports. He'll be followed by Brendan Clean. Go ahead, Kellen.
Hey, James, good to see you. With Jalen's front court versatility, being able to play the 4 or the 5, particularly looking at playing the 4 with DeAndre, what do you see out of his game that benefits him as a potential long-term fit and someone who's going to play minutes with DeAndre on the floor, I would assume?
Well, like I said, his versatility defensively, being able to switch, being able to run in transition, to be interchangeable offensively, like who's the first big down the court, who's trailing. I think when you look at his ball skills and his comfort level being on the perimeter, he allows us to play with 2 dynamic bigs in space. And so I don't think it'll be a problem. I'm looking forward to seeing those 2 guys anchoring the floor together, even if it's for stints. We talk about teams like the Lakers. Those are teams that have great size, skill, versatility. You talk about teams like Denver. They have great size, skill, and versatility. So we'll have to match and exceed that if we want to continue this journey that we're on to become a powerhouse in the West.
All right. Next is Brendan Clean with Forbes. He'll be followed by Craig Fouey.
James, thanks for talking with us. When we had asked you a couple times throughout the off season about what was different about this process for you, you kind of said roll with the punches basically and kind of be patient. But now that things did play out this way and you're so close already to basically training camp and the start of the season, how much does that play a part in how you're evaluating players and thinking about who you want to bring into the organization this week, knowing that the transition is going to be pretty quick?
Well, it's great to have a foundation. We already have a foundation set. The guys that are here with us, they've been grinding in the gym for the last 365 days. And whoever we bring in, they'll have to match that intensity, just that approach to getting to work. It actually makes it easier for us because we're focused. We know there are a few guys out there that are what we call Suns fits, and if we do our job, we'll add them and they'll fit in seamlessly, and we'll be ready. There's no secrets. It's no secret. Our approach to winning games is to show up, work hard, execute, follow the game plan, and live with the results. And so far, since we've started this, we've had pretty good results operating that way.
All right, next is Craig Fouey with ABC 15. He'll be followed by Dwayne Rankin.
Hey, James, follow up on that response there. Moving forward with free agency, you have cap room. How does that all work for you now moving forward to try and bring some more players in?
Well, we have our mechanisms. We'll be an over the cap team. We'll have a few exceptions to add. We'll add some minimum guys. We'll see how we can fill out the roster. But I feel pretty good about where we are just because we have a core group of guys. And our free agents, we have their rights so we can re-sign them. Our restricted guys, we'll do our best to keep them in-house. So I feel really good about our ability to build out the rest of our roster.
All right, next is Dwayne Rankin with the Arizona Republic. He'll be followed by Richard Syons. Go ahead, Dwayne.
Going back to Jalen Smith, as far as the in-person workout, he said you guys did one with him. When was it? Where was it? And how many visits, you could take like 10 teams to visit 10 prospects. How many did you guys take overall? And then what did you see in that workout that jumped out to you?
Exactly. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, well, we took enough workouts to see that group of guys that we like. There were multiple prospects tonight. I think that's one of the toughest challenges when you have so much time to evaluate guys. You fall in love with a lot of these players. They've had so much time to refine their skills and hone, and just chisel away at their ability. But Jalen's workout was good. He was one of the few workouts that we were able to manipulate. As far as asking him and his representatives to perform certain drills at certain levels with a certain level of force and intensity, and to do things that mirrored the way we played. There were a few workouts where guys had the standard scripted workout regimen where all they show you is their strength, or they show you their strengths. Jalen was one that exposed his weaknesses, and we were able to see where he excels and where he doesn't. And we came away from that excited and with some clarity, knowing when he's here with us, we can help him be better quickly. But what he does, the speed and intensity at which he executes is something that we demand. And so I think it's a seamless fit.
All right, the final two questions are going to come from Richard Syons with Fox 10 and Dave King. Go ahead, Richard.
Yeah, James, when you look at Monty's offense, so much runs through the point guard. So, when you get a guy like Chris Paul, it kind of seems like a head coach that says, I need a quarterback to run my offense. When you make a tough decision like this, like you said, we give up some quality players to get a guy like this, how much input does a guy like Monty Williams or even another guy like Devin Booker, who's so important to this team, have before or during making such a tough call like this?
You mean specifically like trades or the draft?
Yeah, trades. For Chris Paul in particular.
We consider all those factors. At the end of the day, it's my responsibility, my job to build the team. I'll always I'll always have consideration or consider the thoughts of my coach. He's ultimately the one that has to decide who plays and how we play. Your best players, you lean on them for their experience, for their perspective, because they have to play with these guys. But ultimately, it's me. I have to make the tough calls. Trying to take trying to take and execute the plan that coach has laid out, how he wants to play, the types of players he wants to play. That's my job.
All right, James, our final question comes from Dave King with Bright Side of the Sun. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, James. So you talked about raising your floor a little bit earlier. This year you came close to the playoffs. Now acquiring Chris Paul, he's been in the playoffs 10 straight years, and multi-time All-Star, All-NBA, all that. He's going to expect to make the playoffs. So are you guys going into this season with that? The expectation as far as the rest of the roster building, bringing in more veterans to make sure that you don't have as many lulls in the season and you can get all that way into the playoffs?
My approach, I think our approach collectively has never changed. I say this every year. People want me to make predictions. How many games do you make the playoffs? We're here to win games. We're here to make the playoffs. We're here to win a title. And so the expectation is that we bring a playoff-type performance to the floor every single night. If we do that, we'll be fine. If we make the playoffs and we lose in the first round, no one's satisfied. If we make the playoffs and we lose in the Western Conference Finals, no one's satisfied. If you make the playoffs and you lose in the finals, no one's satisfied. So we don't come here to play games. We don't come here to just step on the court and complete seasons. Like, we want the playoffs. And so until we win a title, that's what we'll be chasing, and we'll never be satisfied.